Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. We got a special Shrine Bowl edition here as we're going to kind of watch along with the Shrine Bowl, keep up with what's going on there in Dallas Cowboys Stadium, obviously AT&T Stadium, I should say, down there at the Star. Tim, how you doing tonight, bub?
You ready to go?
There you go.
Ready to go, man. Let's go.
Well, let's roll with it, man. We got a bunch of people filing in here. So Turtle's in the house. We got Boz in the house. We got Mr. Larry Cano. Hello, Larry. How you doing, bub? We got Drew D. We got the whole gang in here, man. Bunch of people filing in. Appreciate y'all making us part of your evening here. Fred McFarley in the house. We got Daryl, everybody. Mountain Man.
United Bates, what up?
Even A-Fam's in here, man. You know.
Oh, really? Our resident Chiefs fan is here?
The resident Chiefs fan. That's some fighting words right there, Tim. My goodness. So obviously we're getting ready to get kicked off here for the Shrine Bowl. We had a couple things that popped up on Twitter. You got the guys walking out of the tunnel earlier tonight. Obviously that stadium's absolutely huge. Looking around the crowd, looks like a pretty small crowd, which that's pretty typical here. They were showing some of the players too, Tim, that have played in these all-star games here at the end of the season. One of them showed Josh Allen kind of morphing into the NFL version of Josh Allen from the All-Star game. I'm not sure if it was actually the East-West Shrine game or if it was the Senior Bowl, but they've been running ads for both, obviously. So it's going to be cool, man. This is interesting. Our first time ever doing a live watch party while we're keeping up with the Shrine Bowl. It's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. And, AT&T Stadium, it's easy to, have a small crowd.
Exactly.
They could have a few thousand in there and it still looks pretty empty. I mean, that's a huge, huge facility down there. I'm glad we opened it up the right way by winning the Super Bowl there, by the way. That was awesome.
A little christening, right? Just
a little christening, and we've owned Dallas ever since, and I love it. No, this is awesome. And, usually these type of games, right, you're not expecting 50, 60,000 people. This is more for the players and the scouts and the diehard fans, right, to get a look at some of this talent.
Definitely. And here you got Andy Borregales. Obviously, the Packers met with him, kicker. Got a nasty little calf tat right there. Jacob would be proud of that, right? As he was warming up earlier tonight before the game, kicking some field goals. So he seems
no
like
big deal, just kicking 59 yarders, no problem. Wow.
Exactly. So obviously, there's nobody in the top 100 that's listed as a kicker here. I want to say was he the top kicker or was it Fitzgerald? Wasn't there a guy named Fitzgerald, Tim? Am I thinking right?
I don't know. I have not looked at kicker at all. I'm waiting for the McManus re-signing.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we don't have to talk kicker again. Yeah, Andy, actually it's Andres Borregales out of Miami who you're seeing kicking here. He is currently the 100th prospect, okay? And he peaked at 96, and the next kicker isn't until 365 according to the consensus big board. So this is obviously the top kicker in the draft as it sits right now. Greg S says Fitz is in the Senior Bowl. Appreciate that. And yeah, Fitz is sitting at 365. So Andy Borregales has got a chance to make a name for himself tonight, man. It sounds silly, but you show that you can hit these kicks in an NFL stadium in an all-star game. Obviously, it's going to be better than just sitting at home and avoiding this and hoping somebody drafts you. So
yeah, and he's got to be the real deal, right? You said 100th overall. I mean, he's literally cracked the top 100 as a kicker. That's worth taking a look at for sure. And I'm sure, in the game tonight, they're not going to shy away from long field goal opportunities,
Yeah, definitely. Here you got a video. We'll crank it up real quick. This was tweeted out by the East West Shrine Bowl Twitter account at Shrine Bowl. We'll give them a follow. Jordan Williams from Georgia Tech taking the field earlier.
Hey, when a gladiator steps to arena, he don't get to choose the opponent. Get to it.
Look at that place. It's amazing stadium, man. Look, you can say what you want about Jerry Jones, but he done a hell of a job putting that together down there, man. I like that he kept the hole in the roof too to kind of honor the old Dallas Cowboys stadium, obviously. So, I don't know. I think it's
I was going to say, I thought that they did a really good job of that, kind of staying true to the old Texas Stadium days. And it still has that vibe, right?
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt about it. We got Emilio joining us now as the opening kickoff Pretty good return there by number 10. Who is it? Wester. So that was LaJonte Wester with a good return. There is a flag on the play, though. You guys let us know in the chat. And if you, Tim and Emilio, if y'all would help me mark the chat, if there's any prospects you guys want to see that's maybe playing tonight, we'll give you a full breakdown according to our board, the consensus big board, all that stuff. So, yeah, and as Greg Rice said, no blitzing by the DBs. That stinks. I think they're forcing them to play a too high man look, too, if I understood correctly.
Yep.
So they're obviously going to try to have it as controlled as possible. And you can look at that one of two ways. You can say, oh, man, they're really limited in the play calls. Therefore, you're not going to be showcasing everything you can do. But it also isolates what players can do as well, right?
Right. You're making your DBs play coverage, which is what you want to look at in your DBs, right?
Definitely. Emilio, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Good, man. Just got finished up late. I'm excited for it. I was listening to the PFF pod, them talking about it, and just everybody's getting after it. And I was listening to the GM Shuffle. Mike's not on there anymore, but the new guy was I don't remember his name, but he was talking. He's just like, there is a lot there, but you're looking to just see if they're an NFL talent. Like, do they have the skills? You can does he have the arm strength, that sort of thing, and then you can kind of work with it from there, but. Awesome to just see that all that work comes together. And even he was saying, you're out there, you're scouting the last week of the NFL season, then you're going right to the next. The scouting department's so huge. I mean, look at the teams that are doing well. They've drafted, developed. You can't always go out and buy them. This is a big spot for it.
Yeah, and it looks like Taj Brooks got the start at running back there for the West team out of Texas Tech, had a nice little 5-yard gain. And then just now they completed a pass to Jalen Conyers, his Texas Tech teammate. He's 355th overall. Taj Brooks is 191 overall there. And it looks like the quarterback, I'm trying to see who's playing quarterback. It looks like Minnesota probably. So it's probably Max Brosmer who is starting for the West team here, as he just completed a pass to Shepard. Let's see who Shepard is, where he's at on the board here. He is Will Shepard out of Colorado, 246 on our board.
403 on our board. So,
yeah, it's pretty cool seeing the environment down there, man. It's awesome,
Absolutely.
I think they did it up right for sure. As you seen the guys taking the field just a second ago, just trying to scroll through to see if we missed anything. Everybody coming out of the tunnel, obviously. But, yeah, Will Shepard, nice catch there, man, for sure. All right, here we go. We got a 1st and 10 play for the West team. And drop back out of the shotgun, little toss play to the right. I think that's still a Texas Tech back, is it not, Emilio, or they rotate him out? Trying to see who that was. Of course, the camera's just going to zoom in on people's faces and not really show us what we need to see.
Zoom in on people blocking.
Yeah, nice play there by a Kentucky guy. I think that was a linebacker, right? Yeah, Johnson. Yeah, Dumas Johnson with the tackle there.
Is that your boy, Tim?
Which one?
Walker. I'm sorry.
Which one?
I'm sorry. It was a stack backer.
Oh man, that's
He
hilarious.
said which one?
I got a few, man. Got a few
in the hopper here. Again, we'll keep an eye on the chat and go ahead and highlight those chats too, guys. If you got one that you want to hit on, just go ahead and throw it up on the screen and read it. We'll hit it as we go here. Let's see. I'm trying to get to the consensus big board that I wanted to highlight. If I can find it.
Sorry, Coach Lynn in the chat. Higgins was killing it today in the Senior Bowl practice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Here's the guy. Shout out to man.
I was pulling up some of those speeds too today, and one that stood out to me, Jack Kaiser, was the 2nd fastest linebacker at the Senior Bowl at 20 miles an hour. That really caught my attention. I was like, holy cow. So they've got them GPS'd up, obviously. So
Emilio's car bed don't even go 20 miles an hour.
No, it really doesn't.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good time. On Saturday, I'm really excited. 2:30 Eastern time. Make sure you get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Let's see. Will Shepard is a big receiver. J. Cole says, do we have a height and weight on him? Let me pull up a PFF board here as well, so I can have it to reference. Let's see. Will Shepard, wide receiver, right? See where he's at. On the PFF board, Will Shepard is currently sitting. Where are you, sir? You must be way down there. As it looks like the West team had to punt here. Will Shepard, where are you? Here we go. 6'3", 205. My gosh. One of those guys that's regressed according to PFF, but obviously out there trying to make a name for himself. Where'd you say we have Will Shepherd, Emilio? Was it in the 400s? What you said?
Yeah. 403.
Yeah, PFF really drug him down on our board. So obviously he's got a chance to try to create a little buzz around himself here. As it's 0-0 between East and West. 11-12 left in the first quarter as the East team takes the field. It looks like we got a Maryland Terp playing quarterback here. So, or do we not here?
No,
Cam?
NDSU, right?
Buffalo. What? Who is this?
I thought that was the NDSU quarterback.
I don't have him on the East West Shrine roster here. That's interesting.
They could have been a late addition. You know how my boy Glover was that late addition.
Yeah, I could see that. See that. Mike Witt with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Says everyone is talking about cornerback, but I think edge is just as big of a need. Also, receiver might be a need with Watson missing most of next year. Yeah, if Watson was healthy going into the offseason, I'd feel a lot different about it, but we're on board with you there, man. Tim shaking his head. Yep. Obviously, Jaden Higgins is his dude. If we were to look at our big board real quick, let me throw it up here and give you guys an idea of how the wide receivers stack up on our big board. You guys can see this okay, right?
Yep.
Let's
spread it out. Thanks for the super chat too, Mike. That's awesome. Because we were talking about this offline today, Clay, right? About the edge group. And, like if we go after edge and free agency, maybe we don't get aggressive in the draft, or maybe we get aggressive in the draft with edge if we don't go to that position group in free agency. But corner is definitely a need, but edge is just as important. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, completely agree. So when it comes to wide receiver, let's take a quick gander here. Our top wide receiver on our board is Tetero McMillan. All right, that's wide receiver out of Arizona. Our next receiver comes in at the 23 spot, and that's Luther Burden III, wide receiver out of Missouri. Then right behind him, just 0.3 of a point difference, right, is Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. He's in the 24 spot. So we got 3 players in the top 25 there that are playing wide receiver. Then you got Trey Harris at 30. So what we've got is basically 4 players with first-round grades on them is essentially what we got, right? Yeah. You scroll on down, the next one is obviously Jaden Higgins, and that's Tim's boy there. So that's kind of how our top of the draft looks for our wide receivers.
That's his boy. We're going to keep talking about him because it's going to keep popping up. Noah Williams there with a nice breakup on that fade route. Got his head around, got a hand in it. So I like to see that. Like you said, we're going to see a lot of man, but it's perfect to see what they can kind of do up on that one-on-one situation.
Yeah, both the DBs and the receivers, right? It's awesome to get a good look at that.
Again, Mike, thank you for the super chat, bud. Appreciate you. Aaron Rodgers, our Aaron Rodgers, not the Aaron Rodgers with the super chat. Appreciate you. He said, so I've mocked both Walter Nolan, Ole Miss, and Barron Sorrell out of Texas. And today on X, there is video of them wrecking house next to each other. Love it, love it. Where do we have Sorrell at? Let me look at that real quick. Let's see if we can find him on the board here. Should be fairly easy to locate this gentleman. RYN.
All right, 328 I had him at, Clay.
Man, we got him low, don't we? 328. Yeah. Now keep in mind,
doesn't even have him on the radar.
Yeah, we got the consensus big board, and then we got the 24 PFF grade is all we've got.
Right,
PFF big board doesn't have a grade on him, like you said, Tim. He's nowhere on the big board. So we'll try to compile some more information on him for sure. That's an interesting prospect. Obviously, edge out of Texas, big time program there. And then, of course, Walter Nolan. He goes without saying. You guys know. That's my boy there. I'm really, really excited about Walter Nolan to see what he does at the NFL level. Just if you want to find Walter Nolan on the big board, you just scroll all the way to the top. So you got to do, right? He's sitting in the 16th spot. He's actually deadlock tied with Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Both of them with a 22.7 grade. The low number wins on our board, by the way. So Walter Nolan sitting there at 16. Man, I would be really, really excited if we were somehow able to get Walter Nolan in this draft this year.
That would be unreal. Because, then, we're just going to keep feeding the center of the offense and defense, and I think that's what we just need to keep doing.
Yep.
Definitely. Again, Aaron, thank you for the super chat. Go ahead, Tim. What you got, man?
No, I was just going to say it's not about who wins this game, right? It's about evaluation and getting a good look at this talent, right?
Right. Coach Lynn in the chat said this board is looking clean. I appreciate it, Coach. This is the most in-depth it's ever been, and we are not even – we've got like we're probably going to do bonuses for Senior Bowl as well and East West Shrine Bowl. We're going to go through and look at some of the top scouting minds and who they thought won and lost in those events, and we're going to add a bonus to them. We still got the 33rd team element to add in when they're finished. We got Daniel Jeremiah. He's going to act kind of as our lead scout, if you will. We're going to have Greg Cosell implement some.
We're going to have to start hiding more columns because it's going to just be a mess. I've already hidden 10 or 15 probably. I mean, it's just going to be a jumbled numbers mess.
What it'll probably end up being is we'll end up getting like the 23-24 grade, right? We'll probably hide the PFF big board and leave the consensus big board up since we'll have the grades right there to kind of rely on. But we'll make sure it all is calculated into the formula for sure. So, but yeah, again, Emilio been a lifesaver here, and I love that Tim is kind of just hanging out on the outside doing his own little scouting reports, throwing his list together, cross-checking us, saying, "Hey, no, that seems wrong." So,
absolutely love it. Because I honestly haven't even had time to really watch film on anybody or dig in deep, and I'm literally just typing, inputting data, and it's come together nicely. It's
Hey, we're all team players, right? We all got a role, right? I love it.
Some say, Tim, it could be walking.
Some would say that we're team players. I would be that someone.
Tim, you know there's a Tim Smith in the draft.
Oh, really?
He is our boy. Hold on here.
Where is he on the board?
He went to Alabama. Okay, D lineman. All right.
Okay. Is he a
318 on our board. I think we may need to take a little deep dive on him at some point.
Okay. Well, let's have.
He doesn't have a PFF big board, but he does a consensus. He was 341, but his last year in PFF he was 169. So
what's his name? You said Tim Smith.
Tim Smith, but I heard in the PFF pod that he had an absolute. He just I guess they called his name to bring him up to the front, and he didn't even have. He strapped his helmet on, ran out there, and just goes, "Yeah, I'm a bull rush the dude," and just absolutely just ran the dude over. So I figured that'd be right up our alley.
I love it.
I was hoping we would have a box score to kind of piggyback off of here. I don't see I don't see a box score anywhere on the interwebs at the moment. So 2-0 for this says, what's the difference between the Shrine and the Senior Bowls? I think it's exactly what it sounds like. For the most part, the Senior Bowls are seniors, right? Now, I think in the past, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say in the past, they've gotten some special invites for underclassmen. Or when I say underclassmen, I mean anyone who wasn't a senior. So these guys that are coming out in the draft early typically would go to the East-West Shrine Bowl if they're not a part of the Senior Bowl. So really, the best way to say it too over this is the Senior Bowl is like the top talent in the draft, really. And then you've got kind of the next tier of talent. And we broke it down the other day. There's only a handful of players in the top 100 that's going to be competing here in the East-West Shrine Bowl tonight. Matter of fact, I've got the list right here. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Shedeur Sanders is one of those 6 that's not even playing. So you've got 5 players, if that, in the top 100, as opposed to the Senior Bowl. Let me pull that up real quick on the side. The Senior Bowl has a lot more players in the top 100. Matter of fact, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, probably at least 50. Probably 60 players that are going to be performing in the Senior Bowl. Go ahead, Emilio.
I was just saying that they one of the pods, I think it was GM Shuffle, he was saying that you're not allowed to go to the Senior Bowl and not play. I think you have if you're going to do the interviews and stuff, you're committed to playing. But at the Shrine game, you can just interview and not participate.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So that's probably
Shedeur Sanders, right?
Exactly.
Right, yeah, because you can do the interview process there and not have to play at the Shrine, but you do have to at Senior Bowl.
Yeah, and listen, I would rather see the players play, but I understand if they don't too. If you're somebody like Shedeur, you're going to be one of the top 2 quarterbacks taken. You go out there and you tear an ACL, you cost yourself millions on millions of dollars. So I get it. I really do.
Even if it's not a full serious injury, even if you just tweak something or set yourself back, I mean, it's not worth it, right? If you're in that top tier, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. Completely agree. Yeah, here we go. Greg Rice, Shriners Party like it's 1999. There you
Yeah.
go. Tim said, yeah. All right, Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate you, buddy. He says, I hate that Watson got hurt, but I think Reed could be our version of St. Brown from the Lions. Also, keep an eye on wide receiver Besh from TCU. Could be this draft's Puka Nacua. Man, that's some
Here's the
strong
guy.
I love it, too. So let's go look. Let's see where our boy Besh is on ours. Obviously, he wasn't in the top 4 anyway. Let's see if we can find him real quick. Besh is sitting in the 82 spot for us currently, and we still got to compile some information there. I went through earlier and tried to find. I made sure that we had the PFF big board, the consensus big board, and the 24 grade. And right now, he's sitting in the 82 spot. Now that may be much different than other boards. Matter of fact, let me check. Because I think he's going to be at the Senior Bowl, right? I think he is at the Senior Bowl. Is he not? Yeah, Besh. Actually, we've got him higher than the consensus big board. They have Besh at 128 currently. So looked like we got us a sack here, boys. Who was that? Who was that? Who was that man right there? I hate that I can't see the names. It's driving me.
Hemingway.
Yeah, Hemingway. Is that what it was? See where he's at. Is he the 3 tech right there? I think he is. Oh yeah, little
Yeah,
SWAT.
Tonka Hemingway.
God, what a name! You kidding
Man,
me?
I just lost my stream. I can't see anything. Hold on.
Oh no.
Hang on a minute.
What are you doing over there?
This guy over here.
You like a D lineman that doesn't need gloves, just bare hands, just I'm getting
You
down.
mean like
there.
Reggie White? Give him a single bar face mask, no
There you go.
gloves. Let's go.
Love the comp. Yeah, Jack Bash here. I apologize. It wasn't on the screen. Saying go 82nd on our big board out of TCU. So he's in the top 100, well within the top 100. We've got him higher than most. Consensus big board had him at 136 when we put the info in the system. PFF big board had him at 56. So we have him lower than PFF's big board, but higher than the consensus big board. So Besh, one of those dudes. Isn't he a bigger body receiver to him? Am I thinking right, guys?
Oh yeah.
Let's see what we got on
He
Besh.
goes, yeah, I know that. Yeah,
Both of them dudes from TCU. Savion Williams is another big body receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of the big body receivers in this draft.
Tim got them all charted. I promise you that. I was trying to find him here on get all the measurables. Yeah, well, actually,
Want to
that's
stop
right.
me? Ask me about a receiver that's not 6 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly. 6'2", 215 pounds, 22 years old too. PFF 65, then dropped to 62, only 181 snaps, and then jumped all the way to an 83 his final year in college. He was the 33rd highest graded receiver here, according to this on their big board. So, yeah, Besh is definitely a name to keep an eye on for sure. And again, thank you for the super chat there, Mike. Appreciate you, man. Puka Nacua was a fun one. I remember that draft. That was the first year that I did draft coverage for the pod, and he was the dude that stood out to me big time. And I'm going, why is no one talking about this guy? Went and watched the tape, and like, man, he can run routes. Why is he not getting any love? Then obviously the Rams take a flyer on him there, and he turns into an absolute superstar. Listen, it's not that I got an eye for talent. His PFF grades were off the chart. And anytime people like to just dog the PFF grades as if they don't matter, you can go back and find players like that where they just really popped. So yeah, Puka Nacua, man. If Jack Besh does comp to him, boy, that's a hell of a comp to have, no doubt about it. All right, let's see what else we got here. East West Shrine. I'm trying to comb through Twitter real quick. Matter of fact, I got a video I want to share with you guys. Y'all good with that?
Please do.
This isn't from the Shrine Bowl, but I'm just going to pop it up here so we can hit it real quick. This is from Coach Haddad. He always posts the best stuff, man. If you guys like learning about football, it's just a minute 28 long. And Coach Chris Haddad said game planning checklist with Jaquez Green. All right. And he talks about how they game plan when it comes to calling their defense and setting their game plan up during the week for defense. I thought it's kind of cool to go behind the scenes and see how coaches think. Just about a minute 28 long. Let's check it out real quick.
Let's talk about putting together the game plan first. I guess kind of just take me through the whole process for you.
The first thing I do is what we're good at, what we've been good at, even just the previous game. What did we do well? So that's the first thing. How do they line up? Where do they line up at? When we line up in certain formations, how they gonna line up? That shows me that the identity of the defense. Or they're over front defense, or they're a 3-4, but they really shading to over front defense. And at the same time, while I'm seeing how they line up, I'm checking numbers and seeing who playing where. Is he a really DN or is he really a outside linebacker here? So I try to get the identity of the defense. What coverage are they playing? Are they a 1 high defense? Or they a 2 high defense? Next, you get the 3-by-1 check. What are they doing the 3-by-1? What are they doing to bunch? What are they doing to empty? Because most high school teams don't have one check. They either gonna have some type of zone and some type of all-out blitz and empty. That gonna be it. And so you try to get an idea of what they do. Once I know where they're at and what they're doing, now it gets into who can we attack on those certain plays. It may be a cornerback that we need to go at all game long. It may be a linebacker who can't play well in space. Try to get him out of space. So it may be a defensive tackle that we think our guard can dominate in the run game. So, after I figure out where they play at and what we want to do, then it comes into like which guys want to attack on their defense.
All right, so there you go. Obviously talking about exploiting the weak spots in a defense, right?
Yep.
And I love what he's talking about with the 3-by-1, the bunch, all that stuff. Man, bunch is one of those that I'm not going to lie. When the Packers are on defense and the team lines up in a bunch, whether it's a tray or a trip set, I'm like, oh, crap. It's so hard to defend. It really is.
I mean, you got the switch release, different levels. You can only press one if you want, and then you have all your levels you got to worry about on the defensive side. That's a pain. But I do love how there's so much that you can break down. We're just talking a couple of offensive formations. We're just looking at a couple of guys on defense. I mean, you got to do that within a 5-day period. Get ready for the next game. Honestly, like a 2-day period, get the thing ready to go, tell your players what the plan is, and then you're off. So, you really do have to give props to the coaching staff, Matt LaFleur, and everyone else.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. So, again, just kind of a little insight there into how coaches see game planning for teams coming up. Mike Witt with the Super Chat. Thank you, Mike. He says, I know we struggled this year, but any of my Wisconsin Badgers on your big boards? Hunter Waller, for example, is going to be a 10-year pro, in my opinion. Man, all right, let's go. Emilio, how easy will it be?
I've got 3 Wisconsin's players, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, is Jack Nelson one of them?
Tim, you're in my mind tonight, man. Jack Nelson, top of the board here at 137.
Let's go,
Wisconsin. He is at the Senior Bowl, or at least we have him on the Senior Bowl ticker here. PFF 22 was a 90, beautiful. 23, 124, 24, 35. The only thing bringing him down is the big board. I mean, this dude's here's your guy, Mike. If you want a guy from Wisconsin to play here, that's your man.
Here's a guy.
All right, so Jack Nelson is the highest Wisconsin Badger on our board at 137, like Emilio said, with a score of 111.0.
We just got to get his size. What's his size and measurables? And have they brought him inside? Figure out what color team he's on. We got to figure it out so we can take a little deep dive for him.
6'7", 316. Holy cow! That's a unit right there.
Yeah, that is a unit. So they must have him listed at tackle, huh? Let's see here.
He's listed as a tackle on.
Probably not one we're going to be able to sneak inside.
All right. God, he's a hoss, man. Yeah, pass block grade of 82.2, run block grade of 75.2, zone grade 86.4. We love our zone, whether it's split flow or just straight zone with a little duo mixed in. True pass set, pass block grade 75.7. That's, for a dude a little bit later in the draft, obviously he's not like in the top 100, but yeah, Jack Nelson looking like a pretty solid prospect there, man.
Yep. Okay, and I'm sorry, that was Senior Bowl, so get ready for the Senior Bowl. This guy right here, our second guy on the list, Joe Huber, guard out of Wisconsin, East-West Shrine game, and the Packers have met with him. So he is at 231 on our board.
Yeah, notice the cheese logo, guys. When we're showing the board, if you see the cheese logo, that means the Packers have met with them, okay? So yeah,
that one he'll be on tonight. We can watch him tonight.
Got to look for the cheese, man. Got to look for the cheese.
Yep. Let's look for the W there. And then for our last guy, Hunter Wohler, I know you were asking about him. He's got a card in Ultimate Team College Football. He's decent. He's decent. But on our board we have him at 264. He is going to be playing in the Senior Bowl. Looks like PFF 23. I mean, dude, crushed it.
10th highest graded safety.
Absolutely.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Yeah.
This year, not so much. That looks like a Goody kind of guy.
Yeah. And just to kind of compare and contrast, we've got him in the 264 spot because since his big board has him right there at 265, but the PFF big board has him at 185.
Right.
So there's a decent chance he might go a little earlier than where we've got him there. Who knows? Maybe somebody will sneak up and grab him. So is that all three of the Wisconsin Badgers? Is that right, Emilio?
That's all I had. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Yeah.
Unless I spelled Wisconsin wrong on another one, but I think it's it.
Hey, it's all right, man. You kidding me? You think I'm going to judge on spelling and pronunciation? This accent ain't going to happen. Mike, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Listen, hey, Wisconsin, man, you got 3 draft picks, that 3 guys that are pretty much got a real good shot of getting drafted. Not a bad year, right? Obviously, you guys had a down year, but
Yep.
I don't know, man. I kind of wish Wisconsin would go all in and just go get a stud of a coach. You know what I mean? Like maybe you guys it's Luke Fickell that's there, right? Now, obviously, they took a step back this year, not making a bowl game. But could you imagine what Wisconsin would be like if they had hired Bill Belichick? Oh, my God, man.
Yeah.
People would have lost their mind. Now, the problem is Bill Belichick wants to stay on that East Coast, right? He wants to be where he can hop on a boat somewhere close to the North Carolina coast and then be able to head up to his Nantucket compound he's got up there. I promise you that. But just somebody like that, you know, I don't understand why they wouldn't be a little more aggressive in getting a coach. But I don't know. Maybe you guys are excited about Luke Fickell, you know, and I don't even know how many years he's been there. Kind of speaking out of pocket here. Let's see when Luke Fickell was hired. I'm sure the chat can help us, but let's see here.
It's only been a handful of years, right? Two or 3 years.
I want to say, I don't know, man. I don't keep up with Wisconsin that much other than all my friends here in Wisconsin that absolutely love them. Let's see, Wisconsin hire. Looks like that was in 2022. Yeah, so Tim, I think you're right, man. November 27, 2022, he was named the head coach. So he's been there. This would be going on his 3rd year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, his third full year. So we'll see what he does, man.
Another guy to keep an eye on right there on the board, Clay. East West Shrine met with the Packers, got the cheese emblem. Cam Horsley out of Boston College, D lineman. We've met with a couple of them. I think that's going to be another one. Look for that helmet here on the game tonight.
Nice. Got it. Out of BC. And we know defensive lineman out of BC, probably Hafley going to have his eyes on him, right?
Hafley probably knew him. Probably knew him well.
50th overall, according to PFF, as far as D lineman.
Nice. Aaron Rodgers in the chat says, I don't know how scouts do this. You fall in love with a lot of prospects, but you can't get them all. Yeah, it's true. That's where you got to it's checks and balances, right? And I love hearing Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah talk about what they used to do, the Red Star. Do you remember hearing them talk about that, Emilio, the Red Star? Where
yes.
They basically, after the process was pretty much finished, everybody who had a scouting report, they were put in a room and they go, okay, you can only pick one player in this draft, just one, right? And you go put a red star next to his name and give us your pitch on him. And he said it doesn't mean they're the best prospect in the draft. It's just a dude that you like the most, that you feel like, hey, this is a guy that I think can play at the NFL level. And they would go up there and present their red star. Like, I thought that was a really cool story, kind of behind the scenes. And what you get to do is run all that through a filter, right? You get to, okay, so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. He really likes that player. And you got these scouts from all different regions around the country. Like Goody, for instance, used to be a scout. And Goody worked the Southeast, right? He talks about that all the time. So he always worked the SEC. Now, it was my understanding the reason he got the job for general manager, one of the qualifiers, and that's why I love Mark Murphy, that Mark Murphy put out there, was he looked at he said, everybody bring me your scouting reports in our scouting department. And Goody, hands down, had the most accurate scouting report, right? And it sounded like he had a lot to do with the Aaron Rodgers pick, too, even though he was a very young scout at the time, if I understood correctly. He was one of those dudes that kind of seen that one coming. So that's how
the best GMs in the league, man, have a scouting background, it seems like, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got to build through the draft. You can't just go out and try to sign free agents. It just doesn't work like that, right? And the way that these contracts are structured now with the rookie pay scale, when you draft a player, you've got them locked up for basically at least 2 years, most likely 3 to 4 years, where you're getting them on that rookie contract. You hit on a handful of prospects, you're going to be competing because you got all that cap space. And now, guess what? Now you can be aggressive. Think the Packers. Last year, you made the playoffs with the youngest team in the league, and you did it predominantly with all these players that you drafted. And then this year, because of all those rookie contracts, you got some money to spend. You go out You get Xavier McKinney, you get Josh Jacobs, you put a couple more pieces in place, you end up winning 2 more games this year, albeit you still get beat out in the wild card round, but you've seen that team, I think, improve. Some people think they regress. I think they improved both on offense and defense, me personally. There were times that there were some ugly spots, but yeah. Godsmack AR69 with the super chat. Ugh. The Eagles and the Chiefs again. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip the Toilet Bowl this year. Shame on the other 30 teams. Rather go ice fishing. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to BS you. I don't know if I'm going to watch Super Bowl this year. Listen, and it's not. It's partly because of all of the just favorite calls that these two teams got all year long. But the other part is, I'm just not that interested in the Super Bowl, man. I would rather watch this stuff. I'd rather watch tape on college players. I'd rather watch tape on players that are going into free agency than watch a Super Bowl where you're going to have two teams that, the fan, every fan other than, basically 30 fan bases hate these teams with a passion. You heard us, and we did a poll question. It was like 80-20. It was just like, hey man, let's make it the Bills and the Commanders. Let's get those two teams in there. People don't want to watch Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs win another one and do it in a way where a defender's not even allowed to touch him and he's flopping. I'm telling you, that flopping stuff, man. That and I'm almost glad he did it in this last game because there were still people on the fence like, I don't think he flops. When you seen him do that on the sideline, and then you had announcers call it out like, yeah, that's just ridiculous. Like, there's no place for that in the NFL. There isn't. I'm glad
there's Chiefs fans that hate this too. I mean, I don't know. Did you see the girl who went viral on TikTok or whatever? Basically being done. She's been a Chiefs fan since the Alex Smith days, as she said, and she's sick of seeing them getting bailed out play after play after play. It's not fun. It's bad for the game, man.
Exactly.
I mean, that's coming from a Chiefs fan, so you can imagine how the rest of us feel.
Exactly. Godsmack, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. We're right there with you, man. I'll probably end up watching it, but it's definitely not, hey, what are we doing for the Super Bowl? It's just not there for me this year.
We're watching Kendrick Lamar at halftime, man. That's it. That's all.
God have mercy. I need this. That's where I need the Snoop drop, Tim. I got to have that in my life on that moment right there. Matter of fact, I'll hit it.
Who?
I'm sure he's a well-known artist that this dumb redneck. I mean, listen, I don't listen.
Put it this way: he's rooting for the West tonight. We'll just put it that way.
Greg Rice says, if you don't hit like, you are an A fan. Boy, don't be an A fan, all right? Of all things, you're not an A fan.
Please don't be an A fan.
If you guys would hit that like button for us, we just cracked 100 viewers. When you hit like, it's amazing how the numbers just skyrocket. And we really, really appreciate you taking a second to do it. We hate to ask, but we didn't ask. Greg did. So thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. Chuck Jaggers in the house says, at my little man's gymnastics, but I got to push that like button to be in here for just a second. Hey, man, appreciate it, Chuck. Tell a little man to go out there and crush it tonight. Appreciate you swinging.
Chuck's doing it, man. He's glancing off at the phone on the side. He's double duty. I love it.
Definitely. Drew D in the chat says, guys standing out to meet. You know what? Let's hold on to that. Let's hit this super chat. I'm going to come back to Drew so we can comb through the board here, okay? Mike Witt with the super chat. Waller reminds me of Jim Leonard as a player. Never going to be a superstar, but he'll be a solid 10-year pro like Leonard. And you know what, man? There's nothing wrong with that. You get 10 years in the league, you were a damn good football player. I don't care. Yeah. You can't play at an average level and last 10 years in the league. You got to be, kind of above average to good, maybe even very good player to last that long in the league. So that's a pretty cool comp there. That you got these players too. I love the fact, Tim, Emilio not so much, but me and Tim, we've gotten so old now that Emilio's still a pup, but we've gotten so old that these players that we've seen play, right, are now becoming coaches. I just think it's really cool, man.
Oh yeah, it is. It's the cycle continues. That's how this league works, right? And not every former player can be a coach or a coordinator, but we're seeing more than a few now, and a lot of them coaching teams that they played for too. It's awesome.
Definitely. So again, Mike, thank you for the super chat, bud. Drew D says, guys standing out to me so far: Cam Horsley, Sal Wormley, and Shamari Simmons.
Shamari Simmons, the Sun Devil. That's a slot corner right there. Put him on the radar.
So let's go right down the line here, Emilio. Can you give me their ranking? If you just give me their ranking, I'll go straight to them on the board if you want to look them up. Let's start with Cam Horsley. You kind of already talked about him earlier, right?
Yes, he was Where did we have him?
I just stopped you from being productive over there, didn't I?
Yeah. Cam Horsley was 261.
Okay, so Cam. All right, Cam Horsley was 260. Bang right here, 261 out of Boston College. We were just talking about him. Got it. And again, with Cam Horsley, 293rd at his position in 22, jumped to 199, then jumped to 54. So you've seen that steady progression. The only thing bringing him down is that consensus big board. That's wild that there's such a discrepancy there between PFF big board and the consensus big board when we put the information in. Up next, he said Sal Wormley. Did we have him on the board?
I'm not seeing him.
I don't think we did. Let's write him down, man. Sam Wormley. And this is why we do this stuff too. We ain't got a position for him. Drew, what position is Sam Wormley? I can go look at the register, but I guess the roster.
O-line, Penn State.
O-line, Penn State. Got it.
He's playing on the East.
Cool. We'll mark him down and try to get him added to the board. I added a bunch to the board today, man. And we uncovered a couple that really skyrocketed up the board, too. It was a lot of fun to see them kind of adjust. And then Shamari Simmons. Do we have him, Amelia? You see him?
320.
Yeah.
320. Well, you got on him.
74.4 PFF grade for Shamari Simmons. But the thing that was intriguing to me is, 637 slot snaps for him last year. Played in the box 164 snaps, even deep a couple of times, so pretty much a slot corner, one of the few actual slot corners that's in this draft, I think.
Nice. Yeah, so we got Shamari Simmons in the 319 spot. He was 113 at his position in 22. In 23, he dropped all the way to 802. 24, he jumped back up to 203. The PFF big board had him at 225, and the consensus big board had him at 340. So we'll see if he can improve his stock here tonight. As Drew said, that's another player that's kind of sticking out to him. So appreciate that.
Oh,
yeah, we got interception, right?
A little pick there. Who was
Who was that?
Michigan. Oh, he took his helmet off and celebrating. That'll get you 15.
Yeah, I'm sure the scouts love to see that. Just saying.
Herring.
Who is it?
Herring.
What's the first?
We have him. Cornerback, out of Delaware. Okay, small school guy. We have him at 386, 317 on the big board. I'm glad he grabbed it. Overthrown ball.
That wasn't a Michigan helmet I just seen?
It looks like
Michigan.
one.
It looks like a Michigan helmet.
Huh.
That's
It
wild.
sure looks like one. Is Delaware got the same? Maybe he borrowed somebody's helmet, boys.
I love that my feed is like 30 seconds behind yours. So
Oh,
you guys are saying it, and then I'm seeing it. I love
Tim
it.
gets to actually
full alert.
Tim gets to tape watch as we give him all the information ahead of time. He's like, all right, I know what to look for.
Yeah, that works, man.
Yeah, you're right, though, Emilio. Overthrown ball there for sure.
I think it's I guess we'd have to look up their helmets, but that's the only Herring we have, and he's an East-West Shrine, and the Packers met with him. So way to put your name out there.
What'd you say he was on the board?
386.
Gotcha. So pretty far down.
All
Probably.
we have on him is a big board. We have not gotten any PFFs on him.
Got it. So just 317 there. There he is, Tyler Herring. So yeah, interesting. I bet somewhere Goody just made a note, right? Okay, a little ball skills. Got it. There you go. So yeah, East is winning 8-0 currently with 13-11 left in the second quarter. I'm going to comb through the interweb one more time.
John was saying it's the same pattern, just a little bit different color for the helmet. So
got it. That's interesting.
You said 13-0?
8-0. Did I say 13?
13-0. I'm like, man, I'm way behind you guys.
8-0, but there's 13-11 left in the second quarter. That's
Okay.
probably what it was. Let's see if we can find a box score. I'm still not seeing anything. You got the final box score. Oh, here we go. The live score from Sporting News. No real box score though. That sucks. Come on, ESPN. I'm not trying to be an a-hole here, but we don't care about basketball. Like, why do we got box scores of basketball?
Oh,
Lord, who was it?
Okay.
Who was it? Chisholm. There you go,
Chisholm.
boys. Chisholm is an interesting prospect here. Just made a great catch across the middle, hurdle the defender. Yeah, he's one that's been getting a lot of buzz here lately.
174.
Yeah, let's go look at him. This is really
Efton Chisholm. I mean, and he met with the Packers too, so we'll take that. Little hurdle too. Oops.
Said F them. Chisholm's down there somewhere, right? 176 at his position in 22, jumped to 36 in 23. Guys, he was the highest graded wide receiver in all of college football in 2024. PFF Big Board has him at 242, and the Consensus Big Board has him at 267. And again, out of Eastern Washington, if you're wondering how the heck is he the highest graded, obviously smaller school, less talent, all that good stuff that he was competing against. If we go to the big board here on PFF, let me take a quick look here. And we can switch
5'11", 200. Okay.
Let's see here. Efton Chisholm, where are you at, sir? I want to see exactly who he played. Maybe they snuck in a big school or two on him if they had a tough opponent. I want to see if he had a chance to compete against anybody. These are all logos I do not know. But week 1 was his best game, 89.6. And then played at the Idaho Vandals there toward about the three-quarter mark. He had an 80.3 in that game. Then he followed it up with a 75.9, a 83.1, a 88.4. So, yeah, I mean, he yards per route run, 3.45, receiving grade, 92.6, drop rate of only 2.4%. That's right towards the top. And his grade versus man coverage was 72.5. Contested catch was a 58.3%. So, yeah, PFF grades went from 74 to 82 to 91.9. So, Efton Chisholm, definitely somebody who's probably going to be drafted out of a smaller school here. Who is this right here, 81? You see that little end around there?
Is that Ricky White?
I was just looking at our boy Huber there, our Wisconsin boy Joe Huber playing that guard. I like that. Okay.
Let's see who this was out of Cal here. Making a play. It was a wide receiver too, wasn't it? Who is that? What's
that was
Chisholm.
That's Noel Williams.
That was Chisholm just now.
Oh yeah, no, it was Chisholm. I thought you were asking about the corner.
Oh no. I was talking about who got the end around there. So they're really trying to showcase Chisholm. There's no doubt about it, man. That's very interesting. So, all right, cool. Let's move it along here. We got a super chat from Mr. Mike Witt. Thank you, Mike. He says, Pack probably won't draft him, but my early draft crush is Jalen Royals. Kind of reminds me of Devontae coming out. Thanks for everything, guys. Hey, Mike, thank you.
Appreciate
it. He's already been kind of linked to the Packers, right, Emilio? Am I thinking right? Jalen Royals? Here, I'll look him up real quick. Let me do the search here so you can keep doing what you're doing there. Jalen
74.
Yeah, so we got him in the 74 spot. He's got the cheese emoji, so the Packers have already met with him. I'd be okay with that. Where would we take him at, boys? What would that be, the third round, you think? If he's sitting there in the third, would be okay with taking him, or would you reach a little bit and take him in the second?
I don't think I'd reach and go to the second, but third round, yeah.
Yeah, third.
He's like my third favorite on my list here, behind, Jaden Higgins and, Trey Harris out of Ole Miss is a guy I've really fallen in love with too. But Jalen Royals, his tape is crazy nice. And, he kind of has those Devontae Adams type. You get that vibe when you watch his tape.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's that's the same school that Jordan Love went to, right, Emilio? Utah State?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, so probably got a little bit of a pipeline that Goody's got going there after drafting Jordan from that school. Obviously, they didn't play together, I'm sure. With the COVID rules, who knows, though? They might have played, been in college for 10 years now, the way that goes.
Right.
I'm glad that we're finally beyond that because that's been very interesting. But, yeah, Jalen Royals been linked to the Packers here early. 2023 grade, he was the 69th highest graded wide receiver. 2024, he was the 65th. PFF Big Board had him in the 72 spot. Consensus Big Board had him at 70. He settles in at the 73 spot for us. So, yeah, man, I would be okay with it. The third round will be ideal, so you don't have to reach, right? I do think there's a chance they take a wide receiver in this draft, though, man. And it would just be absolutely hilarious if this was the year that we took a wide receiver round 1 and blew everybody's mind. In Green Bay draft, could you imagine the crowd going nuts if they took a receiver? What if they let's try to look at a receiver that might fall to them. If we go back and look at all
Jaden Higgins.
Tetero McMillan, right? He's the eighth prospect. He's obviously he's going to be the first wide receiver off the board. Let's say the second wide receiver on the board is available when we pick somehow, some way, like a Luther Burden or an Egbuka. That would be wild to think if the Packers took one of those two guys,
Luther Burden's dope, but he's a shorty.
Is he?
No short receivers.
No shorties, no chowdies.
No shouties.
Then you got Trey Harris. I know you like him, Tim, out of Ole Miss. He's a taller guy, right?
Yep.
A little bit bigger in stature. And then, of course, Jaden Higgins, the Tim draft crush this year. So, yeah, but Jalen Royals, man, I'd be on board with it at the right pick for sure. In every one of our mock drafts, we've got receiver listed as a need because I do think they need to at least take a shot on a receiver, seeing that Christian's going to be out, for a significant amount of time. I mean, if he makes it back next year, it's going to be, I think, bare bones minimum week 12. Maybe he can do some freakish things and make it back sooner. I don't know. But, yeah, when it comes to that, it's just we'll have to wait and see. But
staying on receiver, I mean, we're in the East-West Shrine here. Ricky White, right here. Where do we have him, Emilio, on our board?
Ricky White,
UNLV.
Yeah, as Daryl says, Ricky White the third is a twitchy wide receiver. For those of you knuckleheads out there, he means elusive. Okay, that's what
we have him at 109. Be 108 on the board total.
Sweet.
So that's another one. What kind of size do we have with Ricky White? I'll pull it up real quick and see if
6'1", 190, so he qualifies.
Tim said he fits the bill.
The thing I like about Ricky White is last year, I mean, he's played all over the place. 128 snaps in the slot. He's been out wide, 243. He seems kind of versatile. And I haven't done a full deep dive on his tape yet, but he's playing tonight. So definitely a guy to watch.
Oh, fumble. Who was it? Sigle, Sigle, with the forced fumble there. Nice stick. Looked like it was on a tight end too, man. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a receiver. Kind of looked like a tight end swing or something there. We do have a flag. Might have led with the helmet.
Ricky White, though, Tim, to your point, PFF 22, I think they had him 500. 23, he was the sixth best, and 24, he was 47th. The big board's kind of just bringing him down there. But, I mean, he's speedy, too. I mean, he's got some wheels.
Yep, coming off of back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Looks like he could be another one of those guys. I don't think you go up and reach for him, but, third round or later if he's on the board.
I'll get the PFF board up for us here, too, so we can kind of comb through some of these prospects that everybody's mentioning. Let's get it up here. Give me just a second.
I don't think we have him, the guy that just made that phone.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him at all. Looks like, is that a Kansas State logo? Yeah. So, yeah, nice stick there, though, man.
We need to just get their whatever they have for stats after the game. We just need to get that list. Throw that.
No doubt. Like I said, I was hoping we'd have a box score, but they obviously don't care too much. Maybe the Senior Bowl will be handled a little bit different. But you guys were talking about Ricky White, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ricky White, where are you, sir? Here we go. 182 is where PFF has him, and see if we can get this zoomed in enough for you guys. Yeah, 65, then a 90, then an 80 PFF grade. Yards per route run, 2.93. Receiving grade, 82. Drop rate's a little high there, ain't it, Tim, at 8.2%.
Yeah.
Contested catch rate down too. So
he's like a receiver looking for an identity, it seems like. And that could explain the inconsistencies in the grading and the numbers because he's playing all over the place. I mean, you can see that at least the last two seasons for sure.
Yeah, look at his was it yards per reception? Each year, even if he had a bad year in 22, he was over 12. I mean, his highest almost topping out at 17 yards a catch. That's an explosive play waiting to happen right there.
For sure.
Oh, here we go. Look like an explosive hit here. Who was this out of the backfield? Arizona running back.